Welcome back to another Dragon Ball FighterZ video, guys. I was going to record a ranked fight for you, but something's going on because I could not get into a lobby, period. So for that reason, I wanted to speculate with you guys as to who this new DLC character is going to be. I wanted to do this one last time before we got any news coming out. But also, I wanted to update you with the roundtable event, because I learned something new that I didn't previously know in the last video, and I want to share it with you guys. But before we get into that, if you're new here, feel free to subscribe, man. I'm going to keep you up to date with all of the latest news and updates regarding Dragon Ball FighterZ. So, with this Japanese roundtable event that's happening, I recently learned through Maximilian's video, which I'm sure a lot of you guys have probably seen, Arc System Works is not the publisher of Dragon Ball FighterZ. And the reason this is important to note is because it's the publisher's duty, it's the publisher's responsibility to choose when to put out promotional content. It's their job to go ahead and push out new trailers, new reveals. So although Arc System Works is going to be there for Dragon Ball FighterZ, that doesn't necessarily mean we're going to see Dragon Ball FighterZ updates at this event. Now we are lucky in the fact that Bandai Namco will also be at this event, and they are the publishers behind Dragon Ball FighterZ. So maybe they gave permission to Arc System Works, or maybe they're just going to promote it during their own little segment at this event. Who knows? But I wanted to fill you guys in on that way if nothing shows for Dragon Ball FighterZ, you at least understand why, and you know why that happened. So, with that said, in the best case scenario, let's say we get some news, who do we think the new DLC character is going to be? I know a lot of people are speculating Master Roshi and Raditz. So for that reason, I'm not going to talk too much about those two because we've not only talked about it a lot in the previous videos, but once again, everybody thinks those are going to be the two characters, so I'm going to default to literally anybody else. So starting off with who I'd love to see at this current moment, I would really love to see Dbfz in the game. And the reason I'd love to see Dbfz in the game is because I think he has a lot of unique interactions with a lot of the cast. And I think that's something that Dragon Ball FighterZ likes to include in their game, right? Look at how much unique dialogue they give to every single new DLC character. So clearly it's something that weighs at least a little bit to them, right? You know, Dbfz can go ahead and speak to Krillin, they can have a unique dialogue. Because remember, a lot of Z fighters showed up to the initial reveal of Dbfz, right? So you got Krillin and Dbfz, who can have unique dialogue and even a dramatic finish, whether it's something simple like Yamcha versus Nappa, whether it's a little Easter egg like Beerus completely deleting Goku Black. He's got that same thing with Piccolo as well. Not to mention he has unique dialogue with Gohan, obviously, right? But he can also have unique dialogue with Fat Boo. And even Kid Buu and Android 21, because, you know, I imagine it like he would see them and he'd be confused as to why they exist or where they came from, right? This also gives him the opportunity to have more dramatic finishes because, once again, he's got Krillin, Piccolo, which are potentials, and then he has Fat Buu dramatic finish. Like, what if Dbfz would have actually beaten Fat Buu? Kind of like they did with, once again, Yamcha versus Nappa. And obviously, if Fat Buu beats Dbfz, well then, there's that dramatic finish as well. I would love Pikkon to be in the game because he has a lot of visually dope attacks that are very unique, but I really just don't see him getting in the game. I really don't. Also, he really wouldn't have much dialogue with many people just because he was in the other world and he fought against Goku specifically, and that was pretty much it. And Janemba, I mean, I guess he would have unique dialogue with Janemba, but Janemba doesn't really say anything. So that's not going to be a really long conversation. Many people also want GT characters. Now, I personally am not a big fan of Omega Shenron. I think he has some really dope attacks. I think he's got some really sick moves. But as far as him as a character, not the biggest fan. But I wouldn't mind seeing him in the game just because I don't really think there's enough GT characters in Dragon Ball FighterZ. We can certainly use some more. More specifically, we can certainly use some villains, whether they put Super Android 17, right? Like, Super Android 17 was nuts! He was sick! He was dope! I personally really like Nova Shenron and Ice Shenron, like that combination is pretty sick. Baby's another popular pick for people, but who would you guys like to see from GT? I also personally would love to see Majin Vegeta just because I think he's an absolute sick character, but I almost get the feeling that Arc System Works might want to give us a new character instead of another duplicate because we just came off the heels of UI Goku. But I feel like if they gave us Majin Vegeta, they'd have to give him a lot of unique tools specific to him, similar to how they did with UI Goku, because Arc System Works is getting very experimental with their recent DLC characters, and I love it. So if they were able to come up with such creative ideas for UI Goku, I have no doubt that they can separate Vegeta from his other forms in the game by giving him more unique tools. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, but that's gonna wrap it up here today. If you'd like more Dragon Ball FighterZ videos to watch, I got some on your screen now. And hit me with a like if you enjoyed today's video, and if you're new here, feel free to join a community that loves Dragon Ball FighterZ just as much as you do. I'll see you guys tomorrow.